TV? There's TV here.
Okay na ako.
Get some rest.
Wolverine. Balita ko, babalik ka na sa Deadpool 3. Kasama mo si Tokayong Ryan Reynolds. Panoorin ko yun, ha.
Yeah. It's great.
Teka lang, Wolverine. Ito na yung pag-asang isalba yung MCU. Naniniwala akong aray ko putang ina. Naniniwala akong may babalik nyo yung sigla ng superhero world.
World is not the same as it was.
Oo nga eh.
We're taking a risk hanging around here, you know that?
Oo. Alam ko yun. Hindi ako makapaniwala ng MCU. Kasi Tony Stark ay...
It doesn't exist.
Paano yun? Nga pala, sabi ng director ng Civil War, hindi na daw si Rhodey yun. No? Bago pa mag-Infinity War. sakit sa loob. Nakakalungkot. Naintindihan mo ba?
Understand? It's not real.
Puro conspiracy theorists na ang manonood ngayon, Wolverine. Masyado na silang maraming alam. Dapat kasi di na pinalabas yung secret invasion na yan eh. Sayang sa oras. O siya, matutulog na ako pero parang aatakin ako, putang ina.
Get some rest.
Saan ka pupunta? Hindi mo ako sa hospital. Ito lang pala. Kwenta. Drama-drama pa ako. Katulog na nga. Ay, teka. Alam niyo bang may impostor siya? Hey, what's up guys? Ryanaudencial and Puy. Maraming salamat po sa pagbabalik nyo dito sa channel ko. Pasensya na po kung yan po yung napanood nyo sa intro. No? Wala po kasi akong ibang ma-export. And yes, dito sa video na to, ipapakita ko sa inyo paano nga ba ako mag-export inside Davinci Resolve. Papunta sa YouTube and maybe Facebook na rin. No? Basta social media platform. Now, kung di mo pa nata-download ang Davinci Resolve ngayon 2023, free Davinci Resolve, eto, panoorin mo. No? Panoorin mo si John Ryan dyan. Now, kung na-download mo na at na-install mo na, no, at gusto mo ng basic beginner tutorial dito sa Davinci Resolve, ito, panoorin mo to. No? Matututo ka dyan. So, ayun nga, mag-export na tayo inside Davinci Resolve. Huwag na tayo magpaligoy-ligoy pa. Let's go right into it. Okay, so nandito na tayo ngayon inside Davinci Resolve. Now, of course, you're going to export, no, kapag tapos mo na yung video mo, na edit mo na color grade mo na, at na sound designan mo na, and you are ready to export it or render it out papunta sa inyong mga gustong patunguhan like YouTube, Facebook, or sa kliyente nyo. We're here inside the edit page, and para mag-export, punta tayo sa delivery page. Ayan. Now, we're inside delivery page, and as we can see here, we have our timeline still, our clips, we can disable that. We have a preview or a program monitor here. No? We have our render queue here, kung saan mo ipipila yung mga i-render or i-export mo. And we have here the parameters para i-adjust, no, according to your liking when you are exporting. If you look here on the upper left corner, you'll see here lots of presets, exporting presets na ready-made na, no, ni Davinci Resolve. We have here H.264 Master, Hyperdeck, ProRes, YouTube 1080p, Vimeo, Twitter, TikTok, at kung ano-ano pa, no, audio only, XML ng Premiere, yan, Avid, Pro Tools, nandyan lahat, no. Now, if wala kang pakialam sa magiging kalalabasan ng video mo, no, at gusto mo yung madali lang, no, pwede mo namang i-click na tong YouTube 1080p. Yan na yun. Papalitan mo na lang ng file name, and then i-browse mo na lang kung saan mo gustong bumagsak yung exported file mo. Add to render queue and then render it out. Okay? Kung ayaw mo na ng komplikasyon. Pero for me, since I am using a high-end camera, a professional cinema camera, and I want to maximize the quality of that said cinema camera, the Red Komodo 6K, gusto kong i-export ng highest quality, kumbaga. And same to you guys na may mga ibang mirrorless cameras or even phones with high definition cameras, I suggest you export in a high resolution setting. I'm not saying na yung preset ng YouTube na yan ay hindi high resolution. Pero that's a preset. And we all know presets are sometimes iffy or di natin maintindihan. Gusto ko, I'm in control of everything to maximize the quality of my content. Okay, that's why I'm going to choose custom export here. Yan, ating custom export. We have here file name. Dito mo ilalagay kung ano yung gusto mong file name na ng video mo, no? Lugan Red Komodo 6K. Yun yung gusto kong file name. Now, we have here location. Click yung browse. And then, dito mo naman ilalagay kung saan mo ibabagsak yung lulutuin mong video. No? Now, I advise you, of course, to have enough space para sa inyong video file. Now, may it be in your internal storage or in your external hard drive. Pero in this case, I'll be choosing my external hard drive, which is a 2TB hard drive at marami-rami pa siyang free storage space. So, yan, dito. Dito na lang. Yan. Dito sa video tab, of course, you will check the export video. If you want to export audio lang, you will uncheck this. Pero I want to export everything, so that's why I'm going to check this. Naka-check naman na yan. We have here format. I usually use MP4 for social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, IG. Kasi mas maliit yung file size, I think, ni MP4 and it never fails me. Okay, and mas madali siyang i-playback. If I'm going to export for a client, I will be using QuickTime. No, pero in this case, I'll just be using MP4 kasi playable yan halos sa lahat, even sa TVs. Now, we are going to choose H.264 here, no? Kasi mas universal yung H.264, not unlike the H.265, and some of you guys might not have this option, exporting to H.265, depende sa machine nyo, sa editing machine nyo. Pero in this case, I'll be using H.264. H.264 basically is a compression or a codec ng ating video. H.264 is playable in most of the machines nowadays, even on TVs and stuff like that. H.265 has a bit more compression. Yung file size niya mas konti, pero hindi masyadong recognized ang H.265 sa ibang mga makina or sa ibang mga movie software, playback software apps. Use hardware acceleration if available. Check that. I normally just leave this check. Network optimization, I have no idea anong para saan yan. Pasensya na. Now, we have here resolution. And you can see here custom. Why? Kasi itong aking timeline, if we click the cogwheel here, you can see here that it's on custom din. Kasi yung aking resolution is 3840 by 1920. It's not a usual resolution pagdating sa mga videos. Pero for YouTube and Facebook, and I normally watch, or you guys normally watch these content of mine sa mobile phone lang. That's why I'm using 3840 by 1920. Ito yung madalas na gamit ko every time I export for YouTube and on Facebook. Kasi madalas sa cellphone lang naman pinapanood. And in this resolution, kung mapapansin nyo, sakop na sakop niya yung screen ng inyong mga mobile phones. Now, depende yon sa timeline nyo, no? Kung ano yung timeline nyo. Kung 1920 by 1080 or 1080p, default nakaganyan na yan, 1920 by 1080 na yan. And pwede mong baguhin dito. If ever yung timeline nyo ay 4K, pwede nyong i-resize yan dito. No? Pero since I am using a different kind of resolution, 3840 by 1920, yun ang gagamitin natin. Nasa sa inyo yan kung anong resolution nyo gusto. Okay, frame rate ko is 23976 or 24 frames per second. Yun ang material ko kasi. Usually, pag inopen mo tong custom export na to, kung ano yung timeline mo, yan na yun. Now, quality, we don't want it to be automatic, we want to restrict it. And restriction means constant lang yung bitrate ng ating video, no? May times kasi na iba-iba yung mga clips mo, iba-ibang bitrate ng clips mo. Automatic seems to manage all of those na iba-iba. I'm not really sure what I'm saying. Pero this is how I do it, no? I restrict it to ilang kbps. Ito yung data rate. Mas mataas na kbps, mas malaking file size. Mas mababang kbps, mas maliit na file size. Okay? I usually just do 80,000. Most of the tutorials that I watched, no, sa YouTube, they use 60,000 kbps or 6,000 mbps. No, enough na daw yon for 4K quality. I don't know the reason behind that. 60,000 is okay daw, pero I want to be safe and it gives me peace of mind. So I'll just put 80,000 kbps here. Encoding profile is high. Entropy mode is kabak. I'm not sure ano tong kabak na to at kung ano-ano pa. Matagal ko na kasi itong nakikita sa trabaho, itong kabak na to. Every time I export, parang puro kabak yung nakita. Di kabak. Mabalik ako lang dito sa may format codec. Minsan may mga GPU accelerator pa dito, hardware accelerator dito where you can choose NVIDIA at kung ano-ano pa depende sa graphics card nyo. Just use the highest or the most powerful GPU accelerator na meron kayo. Multipass encode, I usually don't check that. Keyframes automatic, frame recording is checked. Advanced settings here, drop down menu, clinic ko yun. And pixel aspect ratio is square, tama. Data levels is full. And dito sa color space tag, minsan nagkakaproblema rin dito. No? Pero I usually just use what my project is set. Again, depende yan sa project settings or sa timeline settings nyo. Okay? Wala na tayong gagawin dyan. Subtitle, wala naman. Okay. Audio. Codec ko is AAC. Export audio, of course. Constant bitrate, 320 kilobytes per second. Same as project, yung sample rate and output track is bus 1 stereo. Sa file, okay, makikita mo dito yung before and after nung inyong internal storage. Kung saan storage mo siya ibabagsak. Okay, that's it. Wala na akong ginagalaw dyan. But before we click add to render queue, gusto ko lang i-explain ito. No? Render entire timeline. Now, kung yung timeline mo ay wala nang laman dito sa side na to at ito lang ang laman ng timeline mo and you want to export the whole thing, just render entire timeline. Pero if merong laman dito, mga clips dyan, make sure you check in and out range. This is your work area bar. This bar right here, that's your work area bar. Let's say you want to export this part only. Yung nasasakupan lang ng work area bar na yan. Yung may ilaw lang na. This is grayed out. Kung nasasakupan lang yan, yan lang yung i-export niya kapag pinili mo is in and out range. Let's say you wanna cut your video into 2 parts. No? This is part 1. No? Zoom out a bit. And then, if you want to render the whole thing, render the whole thing. Just use the work area bar. Let's say this is your part 2. Ayan lang yung i-render or i-export niya. Sana naintindihan nyo. Pero in this case, I'll be using entire timeline. Now, we are ready to add it to render queue. And we click that. And then we see here, no, our job number 1. This is our render queue. This is like a queuing system. No? If pa ulit tayo dyan, rev, no, add to render queue, that's your job number 2. Now, if you want to render both of them or export or both of them, you highlight both of them and then you click render all. But in this case, I'm just going to export one video. That's why I'm going to highlight this and then hit render all. No? And that's it. No? Ihintayin mo na lang yung pagre-render sa inyong video. Now, that's how I export inside Davinci Resolve papunta sa mga social media platforms. Siyempre, iba pa rin yung exporting naman to clients at kung iba-iba pang delivery, no? Sa TV or sa big screen, iba-iba po yun. Pero this video is exporting for social media. Pero usually, social media lang naman talaga ang mga ginagawa ko. And yun po, sana po may mga natutunan kayo dito sa video na ito. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell as well. Once again, this has been ryanaudencial. Thanks so much for being here, and see you in the next video.